film a lot of this saw class. I'm going to show y'all how I've got it set up here before we get going. It's going to be dusk here in just a minute and then be dark. You can see I've got a light tower down there running. I'll light up everything. These are all saw stations for everybody to cut on. We're going to start off cutting cookies and then advance up into doing some boring tonight. Doing that, we're still about 20 minutes away from class starting. I went ahead and let everybody come as they got into town, told them to come on to the house where we could visit. And so y'all will be seeing the class advance as we go through it. We will be cleaning up things as we go. Got the dump trailer sitting there where we can throw cookies into it. So as always, was nice. When I did it the last time, we cleaned it up as we went. So there you go. That's all, guys. Making sure you were still coming. So we're about to fire up. Everybody's getting on their PPE stuff. We got Chris over here, and got all everything lit up. And we're about to start sawing. Jill's going to bring you some pants down here. This is pretty funny. Be paying attention to Chris. We're about to have the first hiccup of the saw class. Kind of watch this right here. One thing I want to add is we start doing this stuff and we progress forward. We want to try to keep our guide bar, our bar, as flat and as level as we can. So we want to keep it as level as we can this way and also this way too. So we want to go straight through it. So always keep that in mind. If I see y'all start going at an angle, I'm going to stop you and I'm going to correct you and everything. I just wanted to add that. So go ahead, Kenny. So today is day 2. What we did last night was we started off in here in the class and we talked about reactive forces on the bars and chains. Very important stuff to know what all that, what's going on with that, as far as, you know, what the chain's doing at the tip, top of the bar, bottom of the bar, all that good stuff like that. So we go over that, and then outside, let me grab some towels. So my paper towel dispenser ran out a while ago. So that's the thing, I have to be the janitor, the maid, the cleanup guy, all of it. So after we get through talking about reactive forces and how the bar reacts to what you're doing with it in relation to what part of the bar that you're using cutting wise, whether you're using the tip, the underside of it or top side of it, then we come out here and we start off cutting cookies. I set everybody up and they get on these saw stations where I got them set up on these stands here that I made, and I just cut them out of wood. And we start cutting cookies, and we do that to where I can see what how each guy's body language is with the saw. Very important for me to be able to see that and watch that, because then that tells me how comfortable somebody is in running a saw. Sometimes I have guys that are really comfortable, and you know, and I'll have a couple that may not be, you know, and I'll work with them. I spend a little bit more time with them trying to get them situated. After we get through cutting the cookies then we start working on boring. And what I do is I set up and I show them how to do it, how I do it. I start off really slow, working the bar in. See, all these are bore cuts right there all the way across, and I do it real slow, and I keep going till I work up and get faster and faster, where you just roll through it. And then I sick them on it then, and they start cutting, doing that. Once everybody's very fluid on that, and it takes a lot, because I mean, look at all the stuff that we cut here, and that's just last night that we cut off. And I mean, you can see all the sawdust on the ground. Once I've got, you know, good with everybody and what they're doing, then I start setting boring stations up, and I put them in order, and we make 3 bores through the thing, and we rotate through that about 3 times. Because the thing about it is, I want everybody to be able to be just completely fluid, and we work on it till we get to that. So once we get that one out of the way, that's what we were on last night. Then we went back in and we started tearing the saws apart, talking about bars and chains and RDT, reduce downtime, maintenance stuff, keeping the saw going. You love the saw, it'll love you. And just from one end of the other, bars, chains, all the way to you know, air filters, the internals of the saw and everything like that. Then I get into the saw sharpening. I set up, show how I sharpen the saw, work through all that stuff, talking about the different files, different file sizes. I even show how to work the gullet, how to work the rakers, or the depth gauges, drags, whatever you want to call them. So then I work a chain up and bring it out here and show how it cuts, what it'll do after I've worked on it and tuned it. So we're doing let me run this thing wide open. It sounds like we're doing a regen on the Kubota. Yes. So when that thing does a regen, let's see. When it does a regen, the best thing to do is turn the auto idle off and run it wide open. It takes about 13-14 minutes, and it'll go through it real quick and be done. So that brings us all the way out here to this morning. Chris just showed up. So what we're going to do this morning, we're going to start back with boring stations. I got to re-mark this one because it's been marked for about 2 weeks. I use a lumber crayon to mark these things. See, there's a line there and there, there and there, and that line is 3/4 of an inch wider than the widest bar that I've got, and they've got to stay in between those lines, and we're gonna bore there. I'll let y'all see it. We'll do it a bunch, and we'll work our way all the way up to, I actually marked squares out. You see them, you can see the lines there, and we cut those squares out. See, here's some that hadn't been cut yet, and I gotta, it's like coloring, you gotta stay in the line, and we just keep going on that till we get everything all the way up to actually cutting stuff down. All right, they're gonna bore between the lines now. It's a lot harder than it was. So that's the first round. We're gonna make another round through between the lines. We're just trying to stay between the lines right now. That's what we're trying to do. Those lines look like they're very far apart, and they are, but when you fire the saw up and you get up against them, they tighten up really quick. What they're going to do now is they're going to go in and they're going to cut in and they're going to go to the line and to the line. All right, what we're doing now is they got to cut them squares out on them lines. So what is it, man?
What am I doing?
Well, you've been boring all. I mean, it's just a square, you know. They got to cut on the lines and stay right at the line. You did good, man. That's pretty good. Notice how each one of them, as they're sawing, they're concentrating like crazy, just 100% focused on trying to hit those lines and getting through it without getting any bypass. This is the last part before we start actually boring felon situation with notches, and they have to cut a square out through the round on both sides, and if you don't hit it right, the center part, when you go to push it out, it will not push out. Oh, you got so lucky. I had the camera on it too. I was hoping it was going to hang. So lunchtime.
It's like a ongoing problem. It's not just like during the storm that you have an issue. Yeah, of course. So they train us.
Now you got to cut around don't cut any more on that side over there. Go on. Okay, come on. Come on a little bit more. A little bit more. Alright. Do good. That's right, yeah. Use the top of your bar. Top, not like you do. Yeah. Top of your bar. Come in. Come in right here. You go. And bring it on around till about right there. Okay. Alright. I want to show you something. When you tuck, you see you cut your hinge right there. So you just gotta remember where your tip is all the time, okay? So now get your wedge. Go! Get your wedge right there. That's good. Now take it and cut your trigger right there. Good. Try it that way. That's like 300% better. I can tell by the way it's pulled in, dude, and it was cutting pretty good. Felt pop. This is kind of the finale of the saw class. This is a big nasty oak that's post oak, looks like, that in the cemetery, and we're going to chop it up on and get it down. It's wiped out some graves back over this way. Tombstones then knocked them down, and we're gonna work on it here and see what we can do. thousands of times. Thousands of times. Like you seen, Kenny, that leading that little old bitty limb, it had a lot of. I mean, you got to watch that curve. You got to be in tune. And when you cut a lot, you can actually you'll get to where you'll feel the fibers start pulling as you're cutting through them with the saw.
That thing's like a springboard.
Yeah, this in here, that limb right there, that limb and that limb right there is the bad one right there. So what we're going to do is you start up here on this and just cut it in the firewood sections all the way down until you get to right there. And then hop around and leave this alone right here. Hop around and work that one over there back to about right there where it starts getting then stop right there. So you kind of cut your way in to that limb right there. And what we're gonna do is you cut firewood sections off of it all the way till you get back to right there. And stop right there, okay? So just cut this stuff and get it out of your way. Just cut it where you won't have no trip hazards, and then you can get in there. Just cut it and then throw it over into the side.
All right. You got it full time or y'all?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Well, I mean, there kind of are sometimes, but not. But it's just there's always it can change and stuff. Yeah. You know, which is kind of weird, you know. But we're luckily we wasn't a good place. But we got a lot of fun. Yeah. It's not more than a million apartments. Yeah, I know. I want to. So we got lucky on that. But yeah, you ain't got to move that big over there. Just get the small ones out of your way. So that's why we're doing this. Yeah.
always got to be paying attention. Y'all see he was starting to cut. Y'all see that other limb up under the bottom right there? That's a guarantee hang right there. Guarantee or whatever. Because you would need to, instead of cutting it right there where he was, you would need to move on down it. Preferably right in there is where you need to move down. So who's next after, you know? So look, you're going to have some overhead stuff, aren't you? You got this piece right here, it's going to be over your head, and you got this piece right here. What I would do is I would go right there and I'd go ahead and cut that where that releases me going down to this piece right here. And then go here and start working your way in firewood sections all the way till you get back. And you go all the way to right there and stop right there. Y'all come around over here on the other side now. Who is next? So Richard asked me how far around on the other side that I cut. Yeah, so I'm gonna skip one of the marks and I'll show you how I do it. So I went ahead and cut all the bad stuff off, and then I spread everybody out amongst the top where they had enough room, and told them to have at it and start cutting this thing up where it'd be up in the firewood pieces. So this is what it looks like after the saw class Sunday morning. We done more sawing on this one than we ever have done. All that stuff's been hacked up there. I'm fixing to take and throw everything in the dump trailer. That's what we've already put in the dump trailer. I actually ran through a whole combi can of gas, and then I had a 2-gallon jug out here mixed up and burnt a gallon out of it. There were several people filling off of it though. So a lot of saw chips were made, man. There's one I done up as a leaner over there. Got it down, showed them how to get it down. That's all, folks. It's all cleaned up. Nothing but the sawdust left on the ground. Took the flag down a while ago, put it up. I take the blower and blow it, and then I take the mower and run over it where to kind of chew up the bark pieces, and I'll get that done. The blower kind of spreads it around, and the mower kind of evens it on out. But this was by far not saying my other setups were bad or anything, but this was by far the best setup on the saw class that I've done yet. The light tower was very worthwhile. We ran way on up in the dark on Friday night there. That was, I will be doing that some more. Cutting under the lights was a lot of fun. There is a tremendous amount of work that goes into these classes, putting this stuff together, everything, and it is very structured and fixed up. So until next year, I hadn't posted any dates yet for the spring classes. They'll be late winter, very early spring. Probably going to wait till after Christmas or right at Christmas to post them. So we're just a few weeks away. I got to work around Emma's ball schedule since she's a senior this year, because I don't want to miss any games of hers. But this class here also was the most sawing that has ever been done, and there was some others saying they burnt roughly real close to a gallon of gas also while they were here. So a lot of sawing for the class. So it's a good time. It's enjoyed passing on my knowledge that I have. I had the furthest person to come to the class that I've had yet, right at 1,000 miles from Naples, Florida up here, and that was Taylor and his wife drove up here. And good time. Everybody's gone. They got all their stuff. Everything's out. And I just got to finish straightening up my shop in there, putting the tables up. I hadn't done that yet. Gonna get that done here in a little bit, because we're supposed to get a good bit of rain, and I'm gonna get this video out, get it posted. But good times. It's a class, but it's so much more than a class. It's an entire experience is what it is. You'd have to be here. The people who have been here to experience it and be a part of it know what it's like when you turn off the county road out there and come over that hill, and the atmosphere that then you come into when you get down here to my shop. So good stuff. We appreciate y'all watching. Thank y'all so much. We'll catch y'all later. Later, taters.